If you're listening to the replay of this live, be sure to punch that like and subscribe button and let me know and drop it below your 2 cents as I go throughout the video. What up, what up, what up? I want to welcome everybody to 2 Cents Boxing. I'm Jay, and we going in today. We going in today. Hi, I want to welcome everybody to the channel. I'm Jay, and this is 2 Cents Boxing, where we talk everything boxing, and everybody's entitled to their own opinion. In today's live, we will be discussing the fight between Devin the Dream Haney and Regis Prograis for the WCB 140 championship belt. Just want to let a couple more people pull up in the building. What up, Noble Young? What up, D Town? What is going on? Listen, I was torn with the fight. I kept saying the whole time, I want both of them to win. I wanted both of them to win, man. But Devin, the Dream Haney. Listen, one thing I can tell you about Devin is he works hard. I see it. I see him improve every single fight. He's getting better and better. He's getting better and better. Um, is he the best? I wouldn't say he's the best, but I definitely will say he's getting better. He did a really great job with his footwork last night. Regis just couldn't get to him, man. I expected more grabbing. I did. I did. But we're gonna get into it. We're gonna chop it up. We're gonna chop it up. So how is y'all day going? How's everybody doing? Let me know and drop it below in the comments. What y'all up to? How is y'all day going? What y'all got going on? Sunday dinner, cleaning up. What y'all got going on? Relaxing and maxing. You know what I've realized is a lot of the men on here cook. A lot of the men that I, because about 99.9% of my audience are males. And when we on here, a lot of times they say they be cooking. There's a lot of men out there that be cooking. Shout out to the men that cook. Like Detail was telling me the other day. Shout out to the men that cook and clean. But what y'all think about the fight? Let me know and drop it below. Let me know and drop it below. So, whew, here we go. Here we go. The build up to the fight. Listen, I'm not a Bill Haney fan. It's see the thing with Bill Haney. It's not that I dislike Bill. You know how you got a dude that just be. You might talk to him, y'all cool, but he just always be lying. And you just be like, man, nigga be lying. He just be lying for no reason. That's my only issue with Bill is the capping, but I understand it's boxing. He doesn't get too distasteful with the capping. It's tolerable, I'll say that. And the way they're maneuvering Devin is genius. It's masterful. It's not giving. I mean, you could say it's giving he don't fight nobody, but he fighting for belts. He fighting for belts. I mean, he's he's young. So let me ask y'all a question. At what age are you no longer young no more as a boxer? Because we keep saying Devin's young, he's young. But when is he gonna grow up? But he's been learning as he go. He's been improving his skills and he's been winning championship belts while he's doing it. That's a great plan. Granted, he fighting people in their mid-30s, but hey, that's who got the belts, right? It's not like he just fighting them and then like, oh, I'm the greatest. He taking belts off these people, right or wrong. Hey, make sure y'all punch that like button. Make sure y'all dropping comments in the chat. That's how we get more people to join in the conversation. The more comments, the more likes. The algorithm feels like it's jumping, so they throw me out there. So more people can they throw me out there on the search, so more people can check me out and get in here. So y'all make sure y'all pushing that like button. Make sure y'all dropping some comments. So the build up. The build up to now when the first fight first was announced, I was like, man, I don't want to see that. I don't want to see Devin fighting Regis. I don't really want to see that. But listen, they made me want to watch this fight. That's how good the build up was. Now, did they make me want to pay for it? That's another live, right? But no, they made me want to watch this fight. It was an excellent build up. I really do believe Regis worked really hard for this fight. He just didn't, to me, he didn't seem like he had a good game plan and he didn't work on the right things. Regis' feet was terrible in this fight. Like he could not get to Devin at all. And that was the question. The question was, is Regis going to be skillful enough to get to Devin to land big shots? I thought he'll get to Devin to be able to land some big shots. He got good head movement. He could time his jab, and he'll be able to get in there. But Devin improved his footwork. He really worked on his footwork. And Regis is like that. And just like Devin said in the face off, you do the same thing over and over. You don't make no adjustments. And I don't know what Regis worked on in camp. And I don't know why he didn't make the adjustments. And let's see what Regis had to say after the fight. Because I don't understand, like, what do these fighters be working on in camp? What do y'all think Regis was working on in camp? I mean, he clearly worked hard in camp. He came in immaculate shape. He didn't look like he gassed out during the fight. He didn't look like he was taking Devin Haney too lightly. He did believe Devin ain't had no pop though, and that opinion definitely changed, right? He thought Devin ain't have no pop. So are we gonna stop saying Devin ain't got no power now? And you know what? I'm also happy that Devin got a knockdown. A knockout would have been great, but I'm glad he got a knockdown. So we can stop criticizing him about uh not having no power. But let's hear what Regis had to say about the fight after the fight.
Better than I thought he
Put a
was,
one in
for
the
sure.
chat if you can hear
He
it.
does have fast. He does have fast feet. Good defense, and he has sneaky powers for sure. It's not like he doesn't have the concussive power to like just knock you out like that, but he does have sneaky power to where he can run you into it.
Regis, what surprised you in there tonight at the back? What surprised you in there the most about Devin? Was it his speed? Was it his
Yeah, it was his speed, trying to catch up to him. I was trying to catch up to him, trying to get to him, and it just seemed like I just like just couldn't get to him.
You've achieved a lot in the sport. Obviously, you've been world champion before. Is that the goal for you to sort of get back on the horse and try and
three-time
in the belt for
three-time champion. Yeah, three-time champion. Something I did have in mind. Maybe it might be too soon right now, but I do want to leave the sport and do MMA. He's definitely better than I thought he
All
was.
right. So did y'all hear that? Put a one in the chat if y'all heard that. He said he's definitely better than I thought he was. He said he better than I thought he was. And the question is, how good did you think he was? Because you're not training to how good you think he is, or at least I wouldn't be telling, because my son boxes too, right? Both my sons box. One of them is kind of more serious than the other, but my other son, he kind of showing a lot of interest too. So I don't know. But they started boxing. They didn't start at 17. They started at like 15. So 13. Oh, my husband's correcting me in the background. They started at 13. But it's kind of like an off and on thing, kind of like I'm just gonna let y'all do this and this and that. But one of my sons really showed some decent talent in it, and my other son is also showing he's learning fast and some decent talent. So things like foot movement, I don't know why that wouldn't be one of the first things you worked on. You feel like, why you don't got no foot movement, Regis? None. I mean, none. Like, you literally tripping on your feet in the ring. So anyway, he says he feels as though Devin was better than he thought he was, and he had some sneaky power. Cool, cool. And then he also say he want to be a 3-time champion. And he's thinking about going to MMA. I mean, that's cool. Listen, Regis is a 2-time champion. He's done what he had to do at 140. He never became a mega star, nothing like that. But I think he's done pretty good in the sport. I don't think he deserves no shame. I don't think he deserves no shade. I don't think he deserves any of that. Devin was the better fighter. Devin is the younger fighter. I mean, it is what it is. Hey, we got Claymore Rain in the building, everybody. Claymore,
What up, though? What up, though? Am I coming in? Can you hear me?
yeah, we can hear you loud and clear.
All right. How you doing this morning? Two
I'm
cents.
doing good. I'm doing good. What's your 2 cents
Afternoon,
about the
actually.
fight?
Listen, man. It was one of those fights where Devin Haney really showed a master class. Really separated himself from. He really separated himself from Regis, and really, in my opinion, I just think Regis has a ceiling when it comes to skills. He started late in the game. He was able to make it far enough in the game with the God-given talents he was given. But as far as boxing was concerned, it seems like he hit a ceiling and he was just really just getting outclassed the whole night. To be honest with you, his corner as well, I just don't know what those guys were telling him. He wasn't working the body at all. I thought that was crazy. I thought that'd have been
Well,
one of
he
the
was
prime.
though. He was working the body because I remember the first couple of rounds. I remember thinking if he keep going to Haney body like that, Haney not gonna be doing all that movement later in the fight. And I was like, maybe that's the game plan.
I didn't see it, man. I really didn't. I saw him really trying to jab with Devin a lot of the night, and really didn't see why he was doing that. I just didn't. I couldn't believe he was just jabbing with him. Like he has the reach on you. He's known for having such a great jab. You going into the fight, it just started to make me feel like he really thought he was going to outbox Devin, which I thought was just a horrible game plan. On Devin's side of the conversation, I really feel like Devin had a real opportunity that he missed last night. And it's just going to have people throwing shots at him. You had an opportunity to finish that man or attempt to finish that man. You had him on shaky legs. You didn't jump on that opportunity. And when you want to have your name in the conversations with Gervonta Tank Davis, with Terrence Crawford, the Canelo Alvarez's, you're talking about being great. All those fighters, and we can go down the list, when they smell blood in the water, the sharks is going to eat. You didn't show that last night, and I thought you missed an opportunity. I thought you really had one. I think a compliment to Devin Haney. I think he's a formidable, legitimate problem for anybody in that division. I could definitely see him getting belts, even being
Hmm.
undisputed. Do I think he dominates everybody in that division the way he did Regis? No. I think Regis just got outclassed. He wasn't supposed to be in the ring with him. But he presented a lot of issues. I love seeing him healthy. I love seeing him healthy and strong. That was a good look for Devin. As far as Devin and Tank Davis is concerned, I think that conversation just needs to stop for a little bit. It doesn't make any sense if Tank doesn't have any uh, aspirations of going to 140, and Devin, you don't have any aspirations of going to 135. It just starts to sound like clout chasing after a while because that fight's not going to happen. And it just at this point, like, stop. Bill mainly, right? Not even Devin as much as Bill. Like, stop. It just stop. You're making yourself look like you're clout chasing, and honestly takes away from Devin every single time you bring up Tank because now you
He's
make it
definitely
a
better
Tank
than
versus Devin thing, and they're never going to be able to settle it. You know what I mean? You're
Well,
never going to be able to
let's see.
settle it.
Let's see what Devin had to say about
because
Tank.
if he really wanted to
Sure.
fight, then he would be trying to build up the fight.
Hold on, let me start it over. Let me start it over.
Don't want to fight because if he really wanted to fight, then he would be trying to build up the fight instead of trying to knock it down or try to say, oh, I'm only selling because of this because of that. If he really wanted to fight me, he would be making it that it's a big fight and it's the best fight for boxing. But he only talked down on the fight. But like I said many times, they say everything, but let's fight. Nobody has outdid Devin. In terms of tank stance partners, you don't have to down the other fighter to validate what you are and what you bring to the table. Tank and his team have consistently lied to the people. They created this narrative that because you make money or because you charge the people some astronomical money for a fight that that the guy's going to lose.
So let me say this, Claymore. They're going to continue to use Tank's name. Like
Right.
that's not going anywhere. They're going to continue to use his name and this and that. But I I just think Devin's going to be too big to fight Tank. He's
I
already
agree.
talking about going to 47.
Yeah.
Hold on a second.
Mhm.
Okay, so yeah, Devin's gonna continue to use his tank name. But let me see. Let me read through some of these comments. Kaz Romac says Regis made no adjustments last night. He didn't make any adjustments last night. I
Yeah.
mean, and like you said,
Just
I don't
out of order.
know. And before the fight, I was saying Regis has to have a good game plan. I don't know what the game plan was. I seen him coming with the body. I was like, maybe his plan is to wear him down so he can't do all that moving and take him in the later rounds. But he wasn't even able to do that anymore because of the foot movement. Like he wasn't even able to get to Devin at all. D
Yeah,
Town
man. He
says
was a fish out
he
of
should
water.
have been it should have been a stoppage with a lopsided fight. Now he got the knockdown. I didn't even think he was gonna do that, to be honest with you, because he ain't knocked nobody down in his last however many fights he's had. So he did get a knockdown. We all know Regis got a good chin. And we all know Regis is a 140-pound fighter. Did we really expect Devin to knock Regis out?
Well,
He
to
definitely he uh-huh.
Well, I was gonna say no. We didn't expect him to do that. Even though he was preaching it and saying that, and Bill Haney was guaranteeing that that was gonna happen. I think deep in our hearts we weren't really expecting that. But I'm gonna tell you what. When you see Regis have shaky legs like that, and you see that the power is effective, you see you've neutralized everything that this man has. He's food in the water at that point. The other boxes that I mentioned, if they would have seen that from Regis, they really would have tried to capitalize on that. And I think that when you already said to the world that you plan on stopping him, your father's, who's your representative, who's your promoter, who speaks on your behalf, who you have co-signed and said that he's allowed to speak for you, said that he was guaranteeing a stoppage. Well, there was an opportunity there for you to do it last night, and we all saw you hesitate to take the car and put it in that next gear. Why? I don't know, but I tell you what, when people say that you have a shaky chin, these are the things they're talking about, because it looks like you might even have confidence issues with your own chin. Because although there's a risk there for Regis to go ahead and capitalize on you lunging at him or coming at him to end him, and maybe he gets a punch in there, but that's what champions do. You take the risk and you weigh it out, and you go for it. If you know something we don't, like maybe you getting hit in the mouth with something you can't take, then maybe that's why you acted that way. But you're going to leave questions there. When you have an opportunity and you're trying to be a great fighter, when you have an opportunity to check the boxes, great fighters check the boxes. He didn't do that last night.
Yeah, I mean, I think I see both sides of it because yeah, we're saying Devin don't got this power and he can't knock people out and this and that, but it's starting to look like he might be able to outclass people.
Oh yeah,
And
definitely, I agree.
he didn't want to take those risks and those chances, which is smart. And either I'm the champion, I'm smart enough not to take those risks and the chances, or I'm the champion, I'm winning here, and I took the risk and the chances. So I could see either side of that. But him getting the stoppage, I really would have loved for Devin to get a stoppage against Regis, so he could finally get this quote unquote respect he deserves, and he can become this star that they're pushing
Hmm.
him to be. Let's
Right.
see. D Town says he deserves it all because of him and his father's mouth in terms of their predictions and expectations of who Devin is. D Town, you know they say that every fight. I don't even know who was taking them serious, bro. They say that every fight. They say that every fight. But I did see. Did you see improvements in Devin? I seen improvements in Devin, and honestly, every time I watch Devin fight, he seems to be getting better and better. What you think?
Well, 2 cents. That's really a great point, man, because that's important as well, right? The evolution of a fighter. Yeah, I'm always been the type of person to stand behind, evolution and getting better. A lot of these fighters don't get better, and I don't know, how close you are to Errol Spence and the Terrence Crawford situation. Some people are sensitive about it, but I think when you look back at
We
that
trying to
fight,
avoid that
yeah,
rabbit hole.
right. I know. So I'll just say that some people look at it for what it was, and some people look at it for what they want to see it. And what I saw was one fighter in that ring evolved every fight. He kept getting better. He had to work on things. He didn't come with the natural abilities that the other fighter did. And the other fighter was able to go through his career fighting one way, and he didn't have to evolve. And when he got confronted with a situation to where he had to make adjustments, he found it difficult to do that. That's based on the looks that he was getting throughout his career, and the ability to go through people with the same style stopped his evolution. I think that we're seeing an evolution with Devin Haney. Devin Haney is getting better because of the looks he's getting, because he's stepping his challenges up, the Lomachenkos, and going to unify, go across the ocean, being depleted, fighting as a weak fighter, all those different adversities that he's giving himself is producing a stronger and stronger boxer every time he comes into the ring, right? So I definitely see that happening. And that's why I really feel like last night it was just a shame he didn't jump on that opportunity. That's something he has to work on, pulling that trigger when the trigger's there to be pulled. Even when you see in the corner of Regis Prograis, where his corner was actually threatening Regis Prograis to stop the fight, that lets you know how close to a stoppage Devin Haney really was last night. And he didn't get to take that accolade, to walk away with that fight, which was already damn near a perfect fight. He fought a perfect fight. But you put that cherry on the top with that stoppage, and the conversations change the next morning. Because this morning, when you go on the different platforms, what do you hear? He don't got the killer instinct. Regis shouldn't have even been there with him. Why didn't he stop Regis? Why even have that in the air when you don't have to?
Oh, we got C-Dub in the building. Welcome, C-Dub. What's going on?
What's the deal? What's the deal?
What's going on?
What's
Nothing
up,
much.
C-Dub?
What's the topic, man? What's the topic?
Man, we talking about Big Hanos. And I don't even know how I feel about that nickname, but I'm going to rock with it. Big Hanos and his performance last night against Regis. He's experiencing a little backlash this morning, and I can see both sides of it. Some people saying he
Backlash?
should have got the stoppage. Some people saying he missed the opportunity to really show that killer instinct. Some people saying he put on a masterclass performance. He really showed his skill and his improvement. What do you think, C-Dub?
In my opinion, I just want to say, I want to give Devin Haney all his flowers, all his props for the performance that he put on last night. Going into the fight, we were thinking that he was going in with the most toughest, most rugged 140-pound champion that there is. Regis Prograis is no slouch. We know he's a puncher. We know he's a good boxer. We know he's at the top of the division. And for Devin Haney to come in there in his very first fight, take on that type of challenge and have that type of performance only shows who he is as a boxer. As far as him getting backlash or anything like that,
Hey, I'm about to step away for a second. C-Dub,
Okay.
run it for me. I'll be right back.
Okay, as far as him having any backlash for what happened last night, I can't for the life of me understand that because he had a masterclass performance. He won 11 out of 12 rounds. Some say he won all 12 rounds. The knockout isn't everything. Everybody's not gonna go in there and get knockouts. We seen masterful boxers, go through their careers without really getting knockouts. Devin Haney is going to be the same way. Devin Haney is not going to be getting knockouts. He's not going to put himself in harm, danger, in danger for no reason. Apparently, we all know Regis is a puncher. All it takes is one punch to change the fight for Regis Prograis. So why give him the opportunity to punch you out with one punch? He had a great performance, masterclass performance, one of the best performances I've seen in years. I haven't seen a performance that flawless in years. So I don't really understand what the
I definitely agree
backlash is
with you.
about.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, man, I definitely agree with everything you said, and just to offer a small pushback, because it's going to be a small pushback, because like you said, he really checked so many boxes last night. He had a flawless performance, and in my opinion, for the record, I think it was a 12-0 shutout. I don't see what round Regis won in that fight.
Regis got 1 and 2. Regis got 1 and 2. You ask me.
No, he definitely didn't get two.
Okay,
He might have got one. He definitely didn't get two.
right. I'll be honest.
Yeah.
I didn't even see one, man.
Yeah.
One was a feel out round for both of them.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe it was. Maybe Regis did. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, just holding when you see the backlash Devin Haney's getting, and here's a small pushback I have for you. When you see the backlash he's getting, where he's getting it from is Devin Haney and Bill Haney are speaking up Devin Haney, right? They want him to be separated from the rest of the pack. And who's the rest of the pack? Shakur Stevens, Javante Tank Davis, Lomachenko, any of the so-called great or generational fighters that are of this era. They want Devin Haney to draw a line in the sand between himself and them, which is good. That's good to do that, right? But you have to understand, when you ask for that type of accolade, what comes with it? What does it look like? What does it come with? Well, what it comes with is criticism.
Hate. It comes with hate.
Well, right, fine. That's part of it as well. But it also comes with constructive criticism, and it comes with high expectations. And the expectations are, when you're at a press conference and you say that you're going to guarantee, you can look it up, and I'm sure you've seen it, Bill Haney guaranteeing that Devin Haney is going to stop Regis Prograis. So when there's an opportunity for you to stop him, now look, if the fight was competitive and Devin just couldn't do it, that's one thing, right? Nobody's asking him to do something impossible. But when we see that the stoppage is there, and we see that it's possible, and you've told everybody that this is intentions going into the fight, then when you don't take advantage of it the next morning, expect people to question why that didn't happen, because boxers alike and pundits alike in the game all felt like Regis was there to get stopped. And like I mentioned earlier, even in Regis's own corner, they threatened Regis with a stoppage. They let him know, you don't change this up, I'm not going to let you take this, I'm going to stop it. So he has to take that with the good and the bad. That comes with it when you're screaming for greatness.
Of course, like when honestly, what I see from Devin Haney, what I see, the type of criticism and the hate that Devin Haney get is very reminiscent of the young Floyd Mayweather Jr. To be honest with you, yeah, I do
I
know
don't know.
that Bill Haney said guaranteed the knockout, but
You can't
trainers and
guarantee a
boxers do that
knockout
all the
though. You
time.
can't guarantee. That's just
Tra-
sell a fight talk.
But 2 cents, even though
trainers
you
and
can't
boxers do that
guarantee it,
all the
doesn't
time.
it mean doesn't it mean
Trainers and
that when the
boxers say and
opportunity
do that
comes, you're
all the
guaranteeing
time.
he's gonna take it?
Trainers
Say
and
that
boxers
again.
say and do that all the time. It's just mind games. Because if you
Look,
remember during the fight, it might have been around round 5 or round 6 when it started getting really bad for Regis Prograis. When he went to the corner, Bill Haney's instruction wasn't to step on the gas. Bill Haney's instruction was to be patient, wait. That wasn't their real game plan for them to go in there and knock Regis out. That game plan was to go in there, be smart, and box for 12 rounds. And that's exactly what the instructions that he was giving Devin Haney the whole fight. Even though Devin
I
Haney was
agree.
dominating him, the instructions was to box and be smart. It wasn't to press the gas and get him out of there. They were just saying that to sell a fight and to get under Regis Prograis' skin.
yeah,
So
Well,
Ramen and Emily Jones, what's going on? We got crucial content in the building. What's up? D-Town, Rambo Red, Noble Young. I just want to shout out everybody that just stepped in the building. Ramen and Emily Jones say Dev improved, looked stronger, and performed great. None of what he gave me one thought that he could beat Tank. Okay, we're gonna get into that. We're gonna get into
oh,
that.
you
Mark Q
see,
is in the
yeah,
building. What's going on? So, but okay, what about the other side to that, C Dub and Claymore? About Regis was an older fighter. You kind of seen his last performance. He kind of, he didn't have that same quick step. He didn't have those same quick reflexes. Regis really looked old last night, if we're
Regis looked like
honest.
himself. Regis never was a fast fighter. Regis never had fast hands. He always was flat-footed. He always was who he was. He just never fought any real tough opponents outside of Josh Taylor to expose that.
I agree.
That's what it was. Regis
I
is who
agree
he
with
was.
that.
He didn't lose a step. He is who he is. He just fought a superior boxer last night, and it showed.
Yeah, I agree
Yeah.
with that. I definitely agree with that statement, C Dub. I think he was who he was. I do think he lost a step in his aggression and in his will, which is what got him through most of these fights, was his will to fight through and to bring that intangible, right? Not the boxing skills as much as that heart. He just really looked like he lost his heart last night. As far as just to kind of push back at what Sel was saying a little earlier, I think you were referencing. I don't remember. You were just referencing that that Devin wanted to that Bill was giving Devin the instructions, right?
Right.
I thought that was admirable for. I think to be a great boxer in the game, you need to be able to take instructions, and Devin has shown over and over and over again that he's able to take instructions, which is a compliment and an accolade I'm going to give to Devin, right? So I'm going to focus more on Bill and say that, well, Bill, being the person who said that he was going to deliver a stoppage, why were you telling your son when the opening was there? Why didn't you tell your son to take it? Now, yes, he was selling a fight, and I agree with you, C-Dub, but let me tell you something that goes a long way in boxing: credibility. You don't want to ever play with your credibility. Because once your credibility goes out the window, and we know you're going to say whatever you have to say to get the fight going, well, that starts to go away, and your numbers are going to start to reflect that. When Gervonta
Well,
Tank
I
Davis says,
think
"I'm
Bill
gonna,"
has already lost credibility. We all know Bill be capping. So it's and that's what I'm saying. To me, just to give my 2 cents, Bill, he does a great job with the capping. He's not too distasteful with it, where you like, man, he need to quit tripping. But he give you
right,
just enough to kind of keep you hanging on and believing. Like he come through strong with the pimp talk. He come through strong with it. So he definitely did it enough to keep people engaged. But I know in the back of people's mind, they was like, you think he really finna knock out Regis? He ain't knocked out nobody in 90 plus rounds.
That's my point. If you really thought that they were going to go in there and their game plan was to flush Regis out, you got fooled. And that's not on Bill Haney. That's on you as a person. You should know better.
I
That's
really do hear what you guys are saying on that, but I'm definitely going to tell you that um, even though people didn't believe it, people were like, "Will he?" When people stop saying "Will
right,
he,"
right.
then what
Yeah,
he
right,
says is going to start
right.
to affect the in the big picture down the road, years down the road, whatever it's going to be, 3, 4 fights down the road, it will affect Bill Devin Haney in a negative way. Right now, it looks like it doesn't matter, but later on, nobody's going to want to hear what that man has to say because we
But
all
he
going to know what
did
it's
get
going
the
to be.
knockdown, Clay. He did get the knockdown.
But at the end of the day, it's not about the trainer. It's about the fighter. At the end of the day, if you don't like
Not
Devin
when it
Haney,
comes to
you're gonna
pay-per-view.
find a reason. If you don't really like Devin Haney, you're gonna find some reason to hate on him, whether it's through his father, whether it's through something that he said. It's not gonna matter. You can't please everyone. Nobody can please everyone.
It's not about pleasing everyone.
But as far as people having credibility in what they say, let's think about the boxers that are at the top of the game and how uncredible their word is. Like guys like Canelo Alvarez, guys like Gervonta Tank Davis and team. These are guys that are at the pinnacle of the sport as far as popularity, pay-per-view sales. You can't believe everything that comes out of their mouth either. So at the end of the day, it's not about that. It's about how much that fighter is liked by the general public. That reflects the pay-per-view sales and how popular they are. It has nothing to do with what they say
Clay,
and come through on their words.
is what you're saying is if he doesn't start to deliver, he
He
will not be
is
able to
delivering.
become the
He is
knockouts though.
delivering.
Because
Listen,
that's
the
everybody's
knockouts-
biggest thing with
listen,
Devin Haney.
that's a casual fan standpoint. You don't have to be a great fighter by getting knockouts. Look at Devin Haney's record. He's 31-0 with only 15 knockouts. If you expect for him to get knockouts as he keep on going up and stepping up in competition, you have a delusional mindset. He is not a knockout puncher. He's not the fighter that's going in there trying to knock anybody out. So why would you ever expect it? It doesn't make any sense.
Snoopy
right,
Mac
C-Dub.
in the building.
C-Dub.
What's going
Wait.
on?
All right.
Cool LJC. What's up? What's up? Let's see. Stupid Mac tell Tank not to fight another Mexican and fight a brother. My Q say overpromise and underdeliver on their expectations and standards, not ours.
He did deliver. He went in there and dominated the Regis Prograis when most people thought that he would probably get knocked out himself.
Nobody thought that.
Dominated him.
Can I push back real quick?
Yeah.
I just want to say that nobody in their right mind thought that Devin Haney was going to lose that fight. I'm promising.
People did.
I thought it could be. It was a chance, though. That's what makes the fight so interesting.
If that fight was any close last night, if that fight was any close last night, that would have gave people the fuel to hate on Devin Haney even more. Because we seen that in his last fight with Lomachenko. It was a close fight, and everybody swore that Devin Haney lost that fight. When the truth of the matter is, Devin Haney won that fight as well. Listen, I've been watching boxing for a while. I've been following great boxers' careers. I've seen this routine before. When I see it again, it's just history repeating itself. Devin Haney is not going to be liked, and that's cool. The people that we generally like the most are the people that's good for us as fans in the sport. The best boxers that are out there right now, not the best, but the most popular boxers out there for the most part right now are bullshitting us as fans. They're not giving us the fights that we want to see. But guys like Devin Haney, he is.
All right. So I agree, right, on most of what you said. As far as Devin Haney willing to take on big challenges and sticking to the script as far as what legacy fighters do to be great. But at the end of the day, you have to watch what you say. You have to learn to deliver and attempt to deliver. If it wouldn't have been a big deal for Devin Haney not to stop Regis last night. The point of the conversation is that Devin Haney said he would. Bill Haney said he would. And when he had an opportunity to do it, he didn't go for it. So therefore, now there's going to be questions as to whether or not
the only
Devin,
people that are questioning Haney after last night are Devin Haney haters. That's the part about it that people don't want to admit.
No,
that's the part
okay.
about it that people don't want to be honest and admit.
Listen, there's always going to be haters.
I'm always be real. I'm always keep it 100%.
Okay, but Dub, there's always going to be haters, bro. We're not talking about the haters.
But I'm talking about you or anybody else. If you watched that fight last night and you took anything negative away from last night, you are a Devin Haney hater. Point blank. Period. Okay, it ain't no other way around. If you watched that fight last night and had any negative thoughts about that, you are a hater. Right. That was a masterclass performance. It don't get no better than that. It don't get any better than that. That was very reminiscent of Floyd versus Canelo. That was very reminiscent of Floyd versus Canelo. What did Regis say after the fight? Regis said after the fight the same thing that Canelo said after Floyd fight. I just couldn't get to him. I just couldn't hit him. That's exactly what that was.
Go ahead, Clay.
Listen.
Go ahead, Clay.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Listen, man. Devin Haney I said that already. He had a master class. He
You
had
a
a
hater.
perfect performance.
You a
Okay.
hater.
So
You a hater.
Devin
Just
Haney had
admit
a
it. Just admit it. You a hater.
Let him
Just
all
finish,
admit
D
it.
right. So
Dub. Go ahead,
yeah,
You a
Claymore.
hater.
yeah. You might want to hit the mute on and give it a second, but to cool down. Um, he he had a master perform class. I already said, you said he had an 11-1. I said he had a 12 shutout. I already admitted that Devin Haney did a master class last night. But just because he did a master class last night doesn't make him above what he put out there in the atmosphere that he was going to showcase last night. I'm only holding Devin
His
Haney.
promoter put that out there
I'm
to sell a
good.
fight. That's
Go,
what promoters
Dub,
do.
write it down, brother. Write it down.
I'm
You
not
you'll have
writing
an
down because I
opportunity.
can't hear the
You
hate
could,
without
cause
interjecting.
yes, you
I
can.
can't hear the hate without
You're an
interjecting,
adult,
fam.
brother. I'm not hating on you. I'm hating another
No, I'm
man.
not. It's not
Not
about
you.
me. I'm not the
So allow
fighter.
me.
You're hating on
All
Devin
right.
Haney, fam.
So allow the conversation to move forward
Hold on, let
and allow
everybody
the
speak.
point to
One
be
mic,
dropped.
one mic, one mic. Go ahead,
Right.
Claymore.
Allow it to evolve into the next chapter, brother. So what I'm saying to you is, although he did all those things last night, holding Devin Haney to what Devin Haney said, to what Bill Haney said. I know you want to go ahead and cash it off to the side as just talk, and he's allowed to. But at the end of the day, as you can tell, by the way, not just from me, if you pay attention to the whole boxing space, they're going to hold you accountable to what you say. There is a difference between him and the Floyd Mayweathers and the Javante Tank Davises and the Canelo Alvarezes. You brought up earlier in the conversation Canelo and Javante. I challenge you to let me know when Javante said he was going to have an exciting fight and didn't. When Canelo Alvarez said he was going to have an exciting fight and didn't. When Devin Haney says he's going to stop them, if you look at Javante Tank Davis, when he gets interviewed and they say, "Are you going to stop him?" He says, "I don't know what's going to happen. You're just gonna have to come up and watch the fight. I know that I'm gonna beat his tail." Canelo Alvarez, even who he is, will go in the ring and says, "Man, I hope I do get the knockout, but who knows what's gonna happen." But when you go on record and you promise a stopping, when you say these things and there is an opportunity, and that's a big time highlighted word, opportunity, because if there was no opportunity for Devin Haney to stop Regis Prograis last night, I wouldn't be saying what I'm saying. But we all saw that there was an opportunity, or at least most people saw, where there were multiple opportunities for Devin Haney to capitalize on Regis Prograis, whether he had shaky legs or whether he had poor foot movement. And we saw him consciously make a decision not to go for the stoppage. That's where the whole entire, that's where I can't think of the word, but that's where the discrepancy, that's the word. That's where the discrepancy comes into play with Devin Haney. So you're
Let me
talking
say
about
this.
being,
Let me say this. I ain't trying to cut you off, Claymore, but let me
sure,
read
yeah,
this
it's all
real
good.
quick
I'm
because
done.
cool LJC26 making a good point. Regis said he was going to hurt Dev and put him in the hospitals. Fighters always saying something. And let me reiterate this channel. 2 Cents Boxing, everybody's entitled to their own opinion. So I mean, hey, the hate is hate, the love is love. But it's just you're gonna get that. It's all boxers are gonna get it, and you gotta understand the hate sells, the love sells. So he promising he ain't. People gonna keep watching. They either gonna watch to see Dev lose or they're gonna watch to see Dev win.
I
It
agree with
seems as
that.
though he's taking a play out of Mayweather's playbook. Plenty of people, hundreds of thousands of people, bought fights to see Floyd Mayweather lose because
I
they
agree with that.
continually felt like this person could beat him, this person could beat him. Floyd Mayweather promise beating the shit out of people and doing this and doing that, and he just get in there and put on a masterclass for 12
Big
rounds.
facts.
Just like he Dub
Big
said,
facts.
we've seen it before over and over. But at the same time, the fans, it's great for Devin. It's great Devin didn't knock him out and people on here talking noise today. It's great Devin put on a masterclass and people on here talking about how great he did today. The point is to keep people talking, and Bill Haney is mastering that at this point. And like I said, I gotta I it's not that I dislike Bill, but I don't like Bill, if that makes any sense. But I do
Right.
appreciate the way he's moving Devin, and he's doing an excellent job with that. Let me read some more comments here. Ramon Emily says, I watch all Devin fights and I still think the same about him. He would get stopped by Tank. If you think that's
Yeah.
hate, then that's on you, fam. Cooking with Frank says there's no such thing
Exactly.
as a master class versus a slow dude that's way past his prime. Devin fans give him way too much credit for doing what he was supposed to do. And Cooking with Frank says Devin should move up, like he said he was, and fight Boots. Let's see how much of a master class he can put on. Boots. I don't see Devin moving up to fight Boots. That's again, that's the Bill talk. We're gonna call it Bill talk. That's that Bill talk.
Right. The
That's
Look,
that
credibility
Bill
look,
talk.
look.
going away.
This is what I mean as far as the guys like Canelo and Gervonta Tank Davis and not delivering on what they saying.
Okay.
Yes, they're not saying, I'm not gonna put on, well, I'm going to get in here and put on an exciting performance, and they actually do. I'm not saying in that regard. I'm saying is that they're saying to y'all as fans that they are the best out there, but they're not doing anything to prove that. That's what they lying to y'all about, and y'all buying it, and it's showing through the pay-per-view sales. When guys that are out there like Devin Haney, who are actually out there taking on the toughest opponents, going to get the accolades, going to fight the people that other guys are ducking, and he going out
Let's
there and
let's
getting
see
dubs.
what Haney had to say about Tank Davis. And y'all, if y'all in here, be sure to punch that like button. And if you haven't already, subscribe.
Tank don't want to fight because if he really wanted to fight, then he would be trying to build up the fight instead of trying to knock it down or try to say, oh, I'm only selling because of this or because of that. If he really wanted to fight me, he would be making it that it's a big fight and it's the best fight for boxing. But he only talked down on the fight. But like I said many times, they say everything, but let's fight.
Nobody has outdid Devin. In terms of Tank stance partners, you know, you don't have to down the other fighter to validate what you are and what you bring to the table. Tank and his team have consistently lied to the people. They created this narrative that because you make money or because you charge the people some astronomical money for a fight that that the guy's going to lose.
So they go Bill with the cap, and he know what it is. They're not charging the people
I didn't
astronomical
hear any
money.
cap. I heard all truth in what Bill just said. I didn't hear
But
any cap.
listen, this is the thing. Like that, from my understanding, Espinoza reached out to Haney to make a fight with Tank Davis. Bill let them know that they already had other plans. After Loma fought that fight after Devin fought that fight with Loma, they already knew they were going to sign back with Matchroom, and they knew that they were going to move up to fight Regis. And like for real, Haney is not moving in a way to line himself up to fight Tank. It's not Tank ducking Haney.
Listen. Let's not negate the facts here. Let's not act like Tank hasn't already had 2 fights at 140. Tank already moved up years ago to fight Mario
What
Barrios
second
for a
fight he had
silver
at
belt.
140?
Listen, he fought
Yeah,
Mario
I'm not aware
Barrios
of it.
at 140
And
to
who
get that
else?
silver belt.
And who else?
Then he fought Ryan Garcia at 136, which is the catch weight of 140.
That's not 140.
That's the
That's not
catch weight
140.
of the 140
I mean,
pound
I guess
division.
they
No,
Am I
round.
lying?
stop.
I guess they
Is that
rounded
not a
up.
catch weight of the
Gotta
140 pound
facts are
division?
facts, brother. Facts are
Is that
facts.
not a
That's not
catch weight of the
140.
140 pound
No, that's
division?
136 pounds with a
That's
high
the
Technically,
grade
catch
let's be
weight
tequila.
for
technical.
That
the
is
Let's
not
be
a
140
literal.
140
Let's
pound.
pound
be literal. Let's
division.
No,
be
C
literal.
Dub. And this is where the reaching
I
has to
said
stop, right?
I said that's
No,
a
you
catch
said
weight
he
when
fought
I
twice
spoke
at
about it.
140. You
I
said he
said it
fought
was a
twice
catch
at
weight.
140.
Listen,
That's not
man.
140.
Listen, man.
Sorry. It's
The
not the
facts are the
same.
facts.
Look, did you see Ryan Garcia fight the other night at 140?
Listen.
Yes.
Listen.
Yes, you
When
did.
when
Did he look
listen,
like the
listen.
same guy who fought
Listen,
Tank at
fam. Listen, fam.
136? It's two
Listen,
different
fam.
conversations. Don't
Listen,
stretch.
fam.
You're
When
reaching.
you fight, when you go up when you weigh in at anything above the weight limit of a certain weight limit, that's a catch weight of the next weight limit. We all know this. When Canelo was fighting
Brother,
at 155,
that is
that
not
was the catch
140.
weight of 160. So when
Well,
you fight at
just for the sake of
141,
conversation,
Sorry.
we're gonna say he fought at
Yeah,
one fight at 140, like the weight
because that's
actual
what it
weight.
not. Yeah, for the sake,
so
I
so
fine.
so
I'll go
back to
with
what I
that. But
was
that's a
saying.
fact.
So back to what I was saying. Tank has already fought somebody at 140 to get a secondary belt years ago. So to say now that he can't fight at 140 is a duck move. It
No,
But
ain't no
nobody
other
go
way
said.
to
ahead, finish.
slice
But
it.
that's not what I'm
Can
saying. What I'm telling you is, C Dub, is that they're not. Haney is not. It's not that. I don't think it's that Tank don't want to fight him at 140. He already tried to fight him. He had a fight plan with Regis, and now Haney talking about going to 47. They're not aligning
Listen.
themselves
Before
in a way to fight Tank.
Devin Haney signed that contract to fight at 140 against Regis, who was he trying to fight at 135? Shakur Stevenson at 135. The reason why that fight didn't happen is because Shakur Stevenson didn't want to accept the terms. So he moved
For
on.
Tank or for Haney?
For Haney.
Listen,
That Haney couldn't
I'm
even
gonna-
make
I wanna shed some
135. That
truth.
wouldn't
Yes, he
even
could.
make
He
no
was willing
sense
to
for him to
sacrifice.
fight.
He was willing to sacrifice.
Listen,
Now that's done.
Yo, you are spitting lies right now, brother. I'm sorry, or you just
Now
don't
I'm
know no
spitting
better
lies.
what you're
No,
talking
y'all
about.
just spewing
Yeah,
hate.
you are,
That's
and
what's
I'm gonna
going
and
on.
I'm gonna
I'm
show
shut
you,
that
and
down
I'm gonna show
every
you why you're
time.
lying, and I'm
I
gonna
ain't the
show you
one that
why,
said to, because
and
I'm
I'm
gonna
gonna
speak
show
the
you,
truth, and I'm gonna shut it
and
down
I'm
every
gonna show
time.
you why, and I'm about to
I'm
show
gonna
you
shut it
why.
down
On
every
top
time.
of me saying that, I'm about to show you why.
Okay,
So
show
number
me.
one, okay, here we comes. Number one, as far as Tank Davis and Devin Haney is concerned, Devin Haney's the one calling out Tank. Tank's not calling out Devin. So why is that significant? Why that's significant is if you want to fight Tank and you're calling Tank out, then you fight Tank where Tank is at. Everybody knows that after he fought Mario Barrios, he made a complete statement, as well as Leonard Erleby, that Tank had no plans of going back to 140, that it was a tall order of what he did, of what he already did, and he didn't expect to go back to 140. He said that. Tank doesn't call out nobody because Tank is the cash. He's the money. Everybody calls out Tank because Tank is going to be their biggest payday. And I'm not a Tank fan, David Haney fan, nobody fan. I truly watch boxing. I'm a 46-year-old man who's been watching boxing most of his life. As long as he could be watching boxing, he's been watching boxing. At the end of the day, the guy who's calling out the guy, he has to be ready to submit and concede terms to the guy who he's calling out. There's no such thing as somebody calling out Tank Davis and Tank Davis being called a duck because he won't leave his own weight class where he's at to go to the weight class where you're comfortable to beat him. That doesn't even make any sense. Number one. Number two, Shakur Stevenson did pass on the contract to fight against Devin Haney. Actually, let me take that back. He didn't pass on the contract. In actuality, Shakur Stevenson put the contract into bid with the WBC, where the WBC was going to make sure that Shakur Stevenson got a better cut of the money that was on the table. He was going to get a minimum of 30% if he had went with the WBC. So Devin Haney left and literally dropped his WBC belt and went to fight Regis. That, my friend, is called a duck. That's why Shakur Stevenson got to
Bro.
fight. That's why Shakur
This
Stevenson
how you know
got
it's
to fight.
clear.
Wait.
This how you know
Shakur
it's clear. This
Stevenson.
how you
Well,
know the
let me
hate is
finish.
too clear, bro.
Shakur Stevenson
This how you know the hate is
actually
too
fought.
clear.
They took his belt away from him. Shakur Stevenson fought Edwin De Los Santos, which was a fucking snooze fest fight. But still, that's how come Shakur Stevenson is a WBC title holder right now at this moment. It's because Devin Haney actually vacated his belt rather than allowing it to go to bid with the sanctioning bodies
Look,
so that he can coordinate the
this how
fight.
you know the hate
We
is too
all know.
clear.
We
I
all
don't
know.
think that I honestly don't think Haney really has intentions on fighting Tank because
Exactly. 2 cents.
one,
Talk about
why
it.
didn't he go to the PBC? And two, he's getting too big. He's going to be too big to fight
And
Tank.
that's the
Period.
truth
The
of
And
fight
the
should have
period.
been
matter.
happen. The
That's
reason
the
why the
truth.
fight
He
didn't
never
happen
planned on
previous
fighting
now.
Shakur or Javante at
Listen,
135.
Devin
He's
Haney
not going to
just
fight
moved
there
up to
because he's
140 and
depleted.
had his first fight at 140. So if we talking about afterwards, yeah, it may have a roadblock if Tank don't want to go up again to 140. But we talking about previous to this fight with Regis Prograis, when Devin Haney spent his career up to this point at 135. Tank can fight anybody who he wants to fight.
Everybody
It's
knows
that
Devin
simple.
Haney had no plans on fighting at
Listen,
135
Tank,
no more.
you said
He
it
already
yourself.
stayed
Tank
there
is
for
the
3
money
fights
man.
too
Tank is
long.
the cash cow.
Right.
Everybody want to fight Tank, right?
Exactly.
So if
Everybody
Tank want to
except
fight
for
somebody,
Devin Haney.
don't the fight happen? If Tank want to fight
Dog.
somebody, don't the fight happen?
But C-Dub, they tried to
Tank
make
has
the
no
fight.
interest.
No, if they tried to
Tank
make the
don't
fight
care.
happen, it would have happened.
They
Bro,
went to
Tank
fight
don't care.
Regis.
Tank
Tank
can
don't
tell y'all.
care.
Tank can tell y'all, oh, I want to do this and this and that, and then he'll go fight
When did he say
a
he
guy
wanted
like
to fight
Isaac Cruz or
Devin?
Hector Garcia. Meanwhile, Devin Haney over there getting straps, over there fighting the likes of Loman Chicos and Regis Prograis and shit, and y'all hating on him. That's
No,
weird.
I'm
You're
not
not
hating.
hating on him.
But
That's
hold on,
weird.
real quick.
That word
I
That's
hate, you like to
weird.
use it you're very loose with that word, brother.
wanna
No, I'm
recognize.
very direct and real with that word because I recognize it from a mile away.
No,
That's
All right,
why.
real
we
quick, y'all.
recognize that you love Haney.
I would like to
That's what's
recognize
up.
today's sponsor of the live, Supreme L. Please, I put his link in the chat. Make sure you go to his channel, subscribe to his channel. He has some great music on there. Take some time to listen to it. Put it on while you clean it up. Put it on while you ride. I know I got a lot of truck drivers. Y'all can put it on while y'all ride, but make sure to take some time to appreciate the sponsor of the channel, Supreme L. If anybody else is interested in sponsoring the channel, let me know and drop it below, or you can shoot me an email at 2centsboxing2@gmail.com. All right, let's see. Cooking with Frank says the problem is the C-Dub, I want to see how you feel about this because I agree. The problem is Devin fights dude. He clearly has advantages over age, size, athletic ability. Let him fight Boots. They're the same age and the same size, athleticism, and etc. Now, Cooking with Frank, I agree with you, but the thing is, he's fighting the guys with belts. So it's not his fault that he has
Boots
the
got a belt.
advantages over the guys with the belts. But at the same time, we are calling Devin the senior citizen slayer because he is fighting all these guys and they in their mid-30s.
Okay, so what about when
And
guys like
Boots has a
Teofimo
belt.
Lopez has a belt, but they duck Devin Haney openly? What are they saying about stuff like that?
I don't know.
They're not
T.O.
saying
Doug
nothing
Devin?
about
When did
stuff like
T.O.
that.
Doug Devin?
Brother, listen, C-Dub, two things can coexist at the same time. I 100% agree with you. I think Lomachenko and Teofimo was ducking Devin Haney back in the day. I think that is accurate, and there's nothing wrong with saying that. Two things can coexist, but the idea that Devin Haney...
they didn't. I agree. Devin
No,
Haney
I'm
has
agreeing
people
with
he
you. I'm
has
actually
physical advantages
respecting
over.
what you said. I'm
I
respecting what you
agree.
said.
I
Like,
agree.
I'm telling you, like,
I agree. Devin Haney has skill advantage over his last opponent. He didn't have a skill advantage over Lomachenko.
no, he
Age,
didn't.
though.
He had age. He had age,
Okay,
and Lomachenko
that
also
is
hadn't fought in
what
like
it
2
is.
years.
That is what it is.
Listen, that's okay. You're right. I give him respect. Nobody's going to take those victories away from Devin. But at the end
That's
of
just
the
the way
day,
to that's just the way to diminish it, though.
listen,
That's the way to diminish it.
no, I'm not. How diminish it? How? What did I say? You talking about what the guy
No,
said?
we're not
Okay, I
diminishing it.
got
We
you.
just stating the
Okay,
facts. Just stating the
All
facts.
boxers,
right.
all boxers have
Look,
all boxers come
C-Dub,
to
at
a
the end
point
of the
when they
day,
fighting guys who they're
listen,
old,
C-Dub,
who they're much older, or they have some type of physical advantage over. That happens all the time.
right, but what they're trying to say to you, C-Dub, is he hasn't had the signature fight and he hasn't given the signature performance to separate himself from these
The
people.
guys just because that's exactly what he say. They say everything besides let's fight. The guys that are just as fast as him, just as long as him, just as young as him, ain't trying to jump in the ring with him. That's what's going on. That's the reason why we're talking about something like that's the reason why we're talking about something right now like a Devin Haney versus Boots. Y'all got to think about what's going on. It's
Ryan
always
Garcia just called him out.
It's always going to be what's next and who's
Ryan
next.
Garcia's not even a
People
real
just want to see
Listen,
Devin Haney lose.
C-Dub, why are they talking about him fighting Boots? Why? You know
The
why? Because he said
commentators
he wants to go to
I'm finna tell you.
147.
I'm finna tell you. The
That's what he
commentators
said
asked
that
Bill
got him in
Haney.
trouble.
The commentators asked Bill Haney about what's next. Bill Haney said, Devin Haney himself said he might want to go take a fight at 147, and they only looking for champions in big fights. So of course, who's the champion at 147 right now? Boots.
Why he ain't call out?
They also asked Bill about what's next, and he also said Tank 1,000 times after last night. So listen, y'all just trying to find reasons to discredit and hate on Devin Haney.
Oh, C-Dub, you just said it. You just said it, and you're going back on it. You're trying to make it sound like they're looking for excuses. No, what you have to understand is your fighter, and I'm going to say your fighter because you clearly are promoting Devin Haney, which is okay. So your fighter is putting out
I'm promoting real boxers that's for real boxing fans. That's what I'm promoting.
Okay, fine. That's what's
Whoever's
up. Okay,
out there
fine.
giving us the fight
That's
that we want to see, challenging themselves, is who I'm for.
Okay, that's okay. Fine. What you said. I'm going to go with what you said, right? The reason why Devin Haney's getting all of this criticism and why he's being scrutinized is because of what's coming out of his own mouth and his camp's mouth. You don't want that are coming out of their mouth to be taken seriously. You want them to be allowed to say whatever they want to say, and nobody has to hold them accountable.
I take what they say seriously. If they talking
really,
about Boots, I believe that within the next year or
Devin
two,
Haney
they'll
was going to
probably
knock Regis
fight Boots.
Prograis out?
Did you believe you talking about what Bill said? I'm talking about what Devin Haney said.
No, Bill represents Devin Haney. He's Devin Haney's
promoters cap and say a lot of shit all the time.
Oh my God! So you're on both sides of the argument.
Tank's promoter cap for him all the time.
How? Tell me how. Tell
Okay,
me
Everybody
how.
okay. This
promoter
is the
cap and say
question.
a lot of things to sell their
Okay, let
fighters.
me ask y'all this: Claymore, Chris, C Dub, I'm gonna hand you the mic first. Who do you think is next for Devin Haney? Realistically,
Who do
we
I think
know it ain't
should
Boots.
be next, or who do I think will be next?
Both. Who should be next? Who would you like to see him fight next? Who could he fight next to what's the word? To garner the like and quote unquote praise from all the quote unquote Devin Haney haters, and who should he fight next?
He will never get the likeness or the praise that he would deserve. That's already shown. That'll never happen. But who do I think he should fight next? I think he should go after another 140-pound champion. There's three other guys out there. There's Teofimo, there's Matias, and there's Rolly. I think that should be next. Or
But
a big
what you
fight.
think, Claymore?
I think that his next fight should definitely be in the 140-pound weight division. I think he has legitimate smoke for any of the champions. If he wants to have an exciting fight, Teofimo would be the one that's more competitive. If he wants to get a belt and just be unified and start taking the belts, I think he should definitely aim at a Subriel Matias. The only reason I don't bring up Rolly Romero because Rolly and Ryan Garcia seem to be damn near cemented. It doesn't seem realistic at this point for them to even go after Rolly. I think Subriel Matias would be the more legitimate
Well, y'all know
guy for him
Tio
to go
just
after.
called out. Tio just called out Matias.
Right,
They
but
supposed to
Matias
be
has a
fighting
hand
in like
injury.
Tio don't want
March or
to
something.
fight Devin Haney, so we won't see it. But that's what I think should happen. But if
Yeah, I
if
think
if one
I
of
think
those
Teal's
fights don't
fighting
happen,
in February. So
if one of those fights don't happen, there's still other guys out there at 140 that will make for very good, competitive, exciting fights. Like Gary Antoine Russell, like
no,
Brandon
he don't
Lee.
want to fuck with Gary. Gary
He
gonna
will
bust
he
him
will
to
he
the
will
white meat.
whoop Gary. He will whoop
All right,
Gary.
we'll see it. Time will tell that story.
All Gary do is throw wild punches all fight.
Oh, okay. All right. All right.
How
All
do you
right.
That
see?
fight
How
would
do
look
you see
very
Devin
similar to
beating
that fight
Gary?
last night.
Okay.
That fight would look
They-
very similar to that fight last
But
night.
Gary's
No,
way more
That's why
athletic
I
than
want to
Lee.
see it
Chris,
because they are
he's out of.
competitive fights
He is
that
not
people
speaking
think that
on
Devin
facts.
Haney
He
gonna
just doesn't
lose
know, or
and
he's
he's gonna
loving
show up.
Devin too hard.
I watch all these boxers, man.
That's actually
That's the
comedy.
reason why I want to see fights
That's
like
real
that.
life
It's
comedy.
because people who don't like Haney want to see him lose, and they think guys
No,
like
nobody
Gary
wants to see him
Antoine Russell
lose,
gonna
bro.
beat him.
Every time
So let's
somebody
see
is
it.
honest about
So
Devin
let's
Haney, you
see
want
it.
to say this shit.
Let's
You
see it.
caught up in the
I
hype.
want to see Devin
Yeah,
Haney
you're
in these
right. Time
tough
will tell the
fights.
truth.
Let's see
Yo,
it.
time will tell the story. So let's let
Let's see it.
time do it.
Let's
We'll let
see
time.
it.
Somebody say Bill refusing
I want to see it. So
negotiation.
let's see
So
it happen. Um,
I do want to see him
Subriel
fight. I
Matias
want to
though,
see him
two
clean
cents.
out the
I think it's
140
Subriel.
division. I want to see Devin clean out
Me
the
too.
140 division. Unfortunately, actually, he didn't look too weight drained, so he may be able to fight
He
another
looked
two, three
great.
more fights at 140.
Yeah. He looked great at 140, man. He looked real good. If he goes to 147, he's going to get a lot of problems. I don't think he's ready for 147. Just I think he could like maybe you guys got to understand what we seen last night was against somebody who can't box. He's not going to do that to Keith Thurman. He's not doing that to Boots. He's not
Oh
doing
yeah,
that to
Chris, they talking
Stanionis.
about Keith Thurman. What you think about that fight, C-Dub?
I just don't think we'll see it, but I think that's a very good fight too. When it comes to Devin Haney and fighting anybody who's really a good boxer or just at the top of the not the top of the sport, but pretty good boxers, it's always gonna be that doubt or that what I'm saying that little inkling in the back of your mind whether you like him or hate him that he could possibly lose against X boxer, XYZ boxer. But that's the thing about Devin Haney that I like the most. He's not afraid to get in there with these guys. He's willing to
That's
prove
true.
it time and
I
time
agree.
and time and time again. That's what I like
I
about
agree.
Devin Haney. He's
I
not
agree.
afraid to get in there and prove it.
I like
I
Devin Haney. Don't
100%
get me.
agree with that.
Listen, this is
Yeah,
what I like most about Devin
yeah,
Haney.
that whole the
I
hate
like the
like him
fact
thing
that
is too
Devin
extreme.
Haney is young. Well, this is my question to y'all. When does a boxer stop being young?
I think it's a combination of age and fights and rounds. And I'm gonna tell you something else. It's funny you just said that because I was just speaking to a friend of mine. Devin Haney's getting all these rounds in. He's actually aging quicker by not stopping these fighters or trying to stop him. The rounds wear and tear on you. That's part of your age of the aging process in boxing. You have to be aware of that.
I think it's
So,
the
but yeah,
punishment more so than the rounds. It's the
yeah, right.
punishment.
I agree with that. The punishment as well. Definitely.
He's not taking a bunch of punishment.
I
The
agree
most
with you.
punishment that he's ever took in a fight was against Lomachenko.
Okay, so
He's never
what I
taken
can
a great amount of
appreciate
punishment in a fight before.
about Devin is that he's getting better as a champion, and I don't know, and I can respect that. Like he's getting better, but he's fighting for belts, regardless if they he got an advantage. Y'all can, whatever that is, he's still fighting the people for the belts, which means those are the people that are the quote unquote best at the time. So I really
Right.
appreciate that about Devin Haney. But at what
100%.
point with is he in his prime and it's just time for him to mash the gas and take on all challengers? That's what I want to see. I want him to be the person to beat. Like I want
So
everybody
can
going after
can you
Devin
answer
Haney.
this? Can you answer this?
Yeah.
What
Go ahead.
boxer comes to mind that actually did what you just said? What boxer?
Uh,
Well, you're gonna say
that took
Floyd. I
all
feel like you're
challenges.
going down
I'm
the
not
road
gonna
of
say
Floyd.
nothing because I haven't seen it.
I
I
seen
Oh,
haven't
not even
Spence.
seen
I
it
Floyd.
in
seen
no
Spence
boxer.
go for all
Not
the
even
belts.
Floyd, who's
I
fought
seen. I
23
seen.
No,
champions.
Floyd. No, listen. Floyd is the greatest boxer of all time, in my opinion.
Oh, okay. All right.
He's
You
the
said
greatest boxer
nobody
of all
else.
time, in my opinion. But when
Okay.
he was in his prime, he got ducked.
Right.
That's a fact.
Yes.
I
I
see
mean,
the
you tried
same
to
thing
compare
with
him to
Devin
somebody.
Haney.
I said Floyd.
I see
You
the
said
same thing
nobody's
with
done.
Devin Haney.
Okay. All right. So I said Floyd. It seems like you were knocking me saying Floyd. You said nobody
No,
did.
I did. I'm
That's
not
what I said.
knocking Floyd. Floyd is the greatest
Okay.
boxer of all time, in my opinion.
Right.
But I said, what
Right. Right.
boxer out there that was when they was in their prime, they took on all the other prime guys out there in their
Spence
prime.
the only one that come to mind for real.
Shit,
Who?
people duck Spence in his prime.
I'm just saying he went for everybody with a belt. That's
But
all I'm saying.
before
Like
he,
if
but
you
Yeah, he
got a
right, you're
did.
belt,
right.
I'm
Right.
fighting you.
But before he fought Terrence Crawford, who was his best opponent?
He fought Danny
Brooks,
Kell
Garcia. He
Brooks.
fought Kell
It was Kell
Brooks. He
Brooks.
fought. He
Porter.
fought Sean Porter. He
Yeah,
fought a
but
lot of great
that was
fighters.
his best. Kell Brooks beat Sean Porter too.
Yeah,
His
Sean
best
Porter
opponent.
almost beat Errol.
You're right. Sean Porter.
He probably gave Errol damn near the hardest fight he ever had out of all the fights.
But at the same time, Earl was in there bullshitting, trying to fight his
People,
style. So he made the fight
Right,
hard. Chris, you
exactly.
going in and out. Your signal fading in and out.
and when you're good,
Me?
the other boxers notice it. They know this. That people are not jumping at the bit to fight these guys, especially when you're not making money like a Tank or a Canelo or
Right.
any of the top
100%.
guys. People
100%.
aren't jumping at the bit to fight these type of guys. Actually, Boost is going through the same thing. Boost is
100%.
in his prime right now, and he can't get a real fight to save his life. He's going through the same exact
100%.
thing. And they're saying the same thing that the Haneys are saying. We just want the belts. We're not going after any particular person. We just want the belts. They saying the same thing.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I agree with you 100%.
Yeah,
100%.
But I see Ryan calling out Devin. I would like to see
So
that
I don't
fight.
think, although we would love to see it, you got to have a dancing partner. Somebody else that's in their prime, that's undefeated or whoever it may be, young like you, just as talented as you. They got to really want to get in there with you to make something like that happen. Otherwise, it just won't happen. You got to fight who got the best, who want to take the fights with you. Teofimo would have been a perfect opponent to match his athleticism, his youth, his skill. That's the perfect person, but he's been ducking for too long.
I don't know why T.O. don't want to fight Devin Haney. I don't get it.
I don't think T.O. doesn't want to fight Devin. I think that's a whole nother conversation because I think there's a narrative out there by these boxers on making money and how they're going to make the money, and they want to be bosses and they want to get the most money. And I think they're getting it. Like somebody like T.O. is a perfect example of somebody who should be fighting way more often, and he's really allowing this money thing to get in the way. He's retiring, then he's coming back. He's playing a lot of games because he thinks that's the way to like get the money. Like I heard he priced himself out in so many different fights, asking for way more money than he was going to be able to generate. It's just people think that
Nah,
money
you could
comes for
blame Bob.
free.
You know Bob be over there bullshitting too, though.
Bob
That's
as
I'm
well,
sure
but
Bob
T.O.'s
be over
not
there.
even with Bob no more. Or is he?
Yeah,
No, he
I
not.
blame
I don't
this
know.
all on Teofimo.
Who's he even with? Yeah,
I can
T.O.'s
I
blame
just,
thought
this
he
all
was
on
with Top
Teofimo.
Rank. Who he with if he not with Bob?
who knows? He's with nobody because he's retired, right? Like, let's be honest. That's what the problem is, right? He's out here, he's retired, he's doing what he wants to do. I mean, T.O. is a talent, man. He's one of those guys who should be fighting way more. I hope he's able to deliver on the Subriel Matias fight. It doesn't seem like it because Matias can't fight until late March, early April. T.O. once again, money, wants to fight Super Bowl weekend. He wants to be Mr. Football. He wants to be the takeover, and he doesn't have proper. He's not allowing the promoters. He has nobody he trusts enough to allow them to promote him in a way where he's not concerned with it as much as fighting. You're a fighter, bro. What brought you to the Mike Tyson had a saying back in the dance, right? He said, "Dance with who brought you to the dance," or something like that, right? Like it's some statement like that. Same thing with T.O. Brother, boxing got you here. We need you to box, bro. You're not Mr. Promoter. You're not Mr. Floyd Mayweather. You're not Bill Haney. You're Teofimo Lopez. You're arguably an undisputed champion who beat Lomachenko, and you're not dancing with who brought you to the party, which was your boxing skills.
I see a lot of people calling for Gary Antoine Russell to fight uh,
Gary,
um, Devin
Gary's
next.
is the
But
main guy. Gary's the Jerome Boots Ennis of the 140-pound weight class. Remember I told you that.
who
I would love to
who
see that fight, although I don't think that fight will be next because, as we know, the Haneys are going for big fights or belts, and Gary Russell is not either one of those, but I would love to see that fight. I think that
The
fight will go
risk
very
reward
similar
is
to
not there.
last night, to be honest with you,
Yeah.
but I just don't see that fight happen. So,
you think
Yeah,
he'll
the
fight
risk reward is
Barrios?
not there.
Barrios has a belt, don't he?
Yeah, he not yet, not officially. He has an interim belt until Terrence vacates those belts. That belt's not legitimate yet. It's just an interim belt. But at the end of the day, that would be a fight that I think Devin could win. Once again, though, don't expect what you saw at Regis, because Barrios is going to jab. He's got long arms. He's going to be able to press Devin Haney in the way that Regis wasn't physically
He's
able
going
to
to
do.
dominate Barrios. He's going to dominate
Not like
Barrios.
Regis, I don't think so, but yeah.
He's going to
I
dominate
think he
Barrios.
wins though for sure. I do think
He's
he
going to
wins.
dominate
I think he can win. I'll say it like that.
He's going to dominate Barrios, I'm sure.
Yeah, he's probably a much better boxer than Barrios, and he's
going to
big.
dominate him.
Yeah, he is. Devin should win that fight. I'm just saying, Barrios is not going to do what Regis did.
Who is
What
Barrios?
Regis did, Barrios ain't going to do. He ain't going to sit there. He got decent foot movement. He got good basic boxing fundamentals. He's going to jab. He's going to work the body. He follows instructions. He brings those intangibles to the table that is going to make it a way more competitive fight than what we saw with Regis.
Oh, Clay, I wanted to respond to
it'll
the
probably be
comments
more.
you made
It'll be more
about
competitive
Devin
fight,
Haney
but I still think he gets dominated.
being listening to his corner, and you could tell Devin Haney's very coachable. The way he
100%.
improves in his fights, you could tell he's very coachable, and you could tell he worked hard. Like, I was really impressed with his footwork, even though Regis ain't got the best footwork in the world. Like, he really was spinning Regis around, and Regis ain't even know where he was in the ring.
Remember when he made Regis run into the corner and hit his head in the
corner? Yeah,
he
ran into the.
Yeah, honestly, like I said it earlier, and people could say what they want to say. I love Devin Haney. I think he's a great boxer. I think he did a flawless performance last night. He didn't check the box in one little area that I thought he could check the box in. But, that was a clinic last night. If you want to learn how to jab, you want to learn how to move your feet, you want to learn how to set somebody up, make them run into uppercuts, you want to learn, that's the fight right there. Boxing 101. He held a master class last night. That's a fact.
And you know who else looked good? Andy Cruz.
Woo! We could talk about Andy. My God. Fight number 2 as a professional. Obviously, we know he's one of the greatest amateurs to ever fight, if you know his history, because I don't want to make it sound like this man just came out of nowhere. Really, if you follow boxing, you go into the amateurs, he's that guy. He's like one of the best amateurs, arguably ever in the history of amateur boxing. But what a clinic. He hit that dude. I think he had like a 60 or 70% punch connect ratio. I don't know what it was, but
he looked excellent, because usually that amateur style doesn't translate too well to the pros.
Right.
But he looked excellent, and it got me looking at Bozy like Bozy might be one of them guys.
Talk
man.
about
he might
it,
be one of those trainers. He
Talk
might be one of
about
those trainers. I was like,
Talk
okay.
about it.
He looked excellent last night. His footwork was good. His punch placement was good. That guy didn't even know what to do. I was hoping they was gonna stop the fight earlier, because he got some years beat out of him with that fight. Did you see the Andy Cruz fight, C-Dub?
Yeah, I seen it. And it was still what happened was what I expected. Andy Cruz, he's a very seasoned boxer, even though he's not a seasoned pro. He's a very seasoned boxer. He's not a young guy. He's a Cuban. You know how it is with Cubans. They spend a lot of their life boxing from a young age. So even though he's hasn't been a pro for too long, he's a seasoned boxer. He doesn't have the pro experience, but he's going to be fast tracked because of his age and his skill.
How old is he?
He's got to be in his upper 20s.
I think he's like 23, 24.
Yeah, but we've seen this before, so I want to reserve what I think about him just yet, because that was just his second fight last night. And when you're your second fight, you're not going to be fighting, it's not expected for you to be fighting very tough competition. So,
it's just the eye test. He definitely passed the eye test. But you know what the problem is?
Two-time Olympic gold medalist, he looked just like all the other two-time Olympic gold medalists that turned pro early in their career. Lomachenko was the same way. Guillermo Rigondeaux was the same way. So we'll
Did
see
Andre
how
Ward win one?
Andre Ward won one. He
Right. So I
won
mean,
one time.
I think that Andy has a lot of promise. I 100% agree with you though. We shouldn't put the carriage in front of the horse. Is that the line how it goes? I think we're gonna let him build up one fight at a time. But last night's performance was a great performance. He really showcased boxing skills last night. We can give him praises for that.
Yeah,
And
sure.
once again, what you said, 2 cents was very real. We got to look at Bozy at some point, and again, we got to talk about Bozy because what he's done with Boots is obviously Boots is just incredible, and he's Bozy's son and been trained through Bozy, living in a boxing gym. But when you see somebody like Andy Cruz developing the way he is and evolving the way he is into a professional arena, showing that talent last night, I would like to give Bozy some accolades on that 100%.
Now, my question about Boost is like, what is he going to do? Like, he has the belt now. People still don't want to fight him. Like, how is he going to move forward? They saying he don't deserve this fight because he ain't done nothing
Yeah, that's
yet.
hate.
But how can
Yeah,
he do anything if nobody wants to fight this guy?
yeah, man.
He's gonna have to do he's gonna have to do what other guys did if he wants to get like that popularity and that recognition. He's gonna have to go beyond himself, fight people that he shouldn't be fighting. That's what he's gonna have to do because the guys that
I
are his contemporaries aren't going to want to get in the ring with him. The other champions at 147 or the other contenders at 147 aren't going to be jumping at the bits to fight him. So he's going to have to do things that are, that he shouldn't be doing, in conventionally. He's going to have to be moving up, fighting guys that he shouldn't be fighting and stuff like that. It's unfortunate, but that's how it is when the other boxers view you as too good. That's what happens.
Yeah, I push back a little bit because I do disagree that he has to do that. I think once Terrence Crawford vacates those belts and these champions become activated, like the Mario Barrios is, and Stanionis, can't remember his first name, and what's the other boy's name? That's going to be holding a belt in the division. Who's going to be you got the WBC, you got the IBF, you got the WBO. Who's got the WBO belt?
I'm
Who's
not
who's a
sure.
All right, whoever those when these belts become vacated, then Boots is going to be able to activate mandatories to unify these belts, and that's when he's going to actually run through the division quicker, in my opinion. I don't think Boots fights anything but a champion until he hits 154. I think he runs straight through the welterweight division. Once those belts become vacated, he's going to activate the mandatories on those belts, and either people are going to become hoes and they're going to vacate these belts, and he's going to get all of them through the email, which would be sad, absolutely deplorable and sad to see that
Of course.
happen. But at some point, I don't believe like Mario Barrios will do that. I think Mario Barrios will put his belt on the line and fight Boots. But he'll get those belts, he'll get championship fights, and I think he becomes unified and undisputed quicker than people thinks he will. Because he'll be able to, once you have that belt in your hand, you have the power of mandatory activation in your hand as a tool for you. And Bozy has shown the way he got this IBF belt, he's shown that he's more than willing to activate all them damn mandatories and take every single one of them through an email if that's the way it has to happen.
Right. We know
Yeah,
we
I
know
think I
that we
think
know
Boots is
that
in the
we know
wrong
that
era, man.
we know that he's the current era of the 147 pounder, not as Spence and Crawford is gone. But we also know
Right.
the politics of boxing. When you're that good, it's going to be hard. They're going to put roadblocks in your way before you can even get to undisputed, before you can collect all these belts. And I expect that to happen with Jaron Boots Ennis. They're going to put every roadblock in his way to prevent that from happening. I'm not saying that he has to do things like jump up to 54 or 60 and fight a crazy fight. I'm not saying he has to do that. But in order for him to get the type of fights that he wants, make the type of money that he wants, get the type of recognition that he wants, those things are going to have to happen. I'm not saying that he has to do it, but I'm just saying in order to get there, that's what's going to have to happen. So,
What y'all think
it's
I
about
mean,
unfortunate.
what y'all think about Montana Love last night? I knew he was gonna lose as soon as I seen him
let
with that
down,
lip gloss
let
on in
down.
that picture
He gave up. By the way, he gave up.
I mean, I seen it
after
in
he
his
got
He
last
knocked
backed
fight.
into
down.
that. He
I seen
backed
it in
into
his
that
last fight
corner.
when he
How
got the
you
big
gonna get
shoes.
separated? How you gonna get separated in a clinch? Be getting beat up against the rope. You know that they trying to stop the fight because you done got knocked on your ass 2 times, and then you back up in the corner and put your hands up and allow this guy to open up shots on you until the referee stops it. That's either he doesn't know what he's doing, or what I think it is he knew exactly what he's doing. I think he gave up in that ring.
I
I
think he
feel like
gave
I,
up in
I
his.
seen
I think he
Montana
quit
Love
both of
get
his
worse
last
and
two
worse
fights.
every fight.
I think he quit in
Yeah.
his last fight as well when he got the DQ, when he pushed the guy
Yes,
over the
sir.
ropes. He gave up in
Yes,
that
sir.
fight as well. So the writing was already on the wall with Montana Love. He's never was
Yes,
going to
sir.
be that guy. He's never was going to be at the top of the weight class. He actually did what he did in the last fight to get out of it because he was getting whooped. So
Yes,
I
sir.
this,
thought he was gonna at least be some quality food.
nah, he's not even that good.
Now,
So
once somebody does what he does, and C Dub, I agree with you 100% on that last fight. He's following suit in this fight. I think I think his will is easily broken. I don't think he has the spirit of a boxer. I think he has a high skill set. I think he's a very talented boxer. But I think that thing in the middle of your chest that you need to get you across those hard adversities, I think he's lacking in that space.
Man, that wasn't even a hard fight. He looked like he ain't trained properly. He wasn't ready. He just looked like he was bullshitting. Like,
Yeah,
I
he
don't
got
from what
know.
I
knocked down
seen,
twice, and
from
his
what I
ego
seen,
got hurt. He ain't want to fight no more.
from what I seen last night, Montana Love game plan should have been very simple. When he was popping the jab, it was very successful. He was popping old boy head back every time he was throwing the jab out there. He just wasn't throwing the jab. That wasn't a part of his
Yeah,
game plan. That's obviously something they don't work on in the gym. His trainers are not any good. His training and his
I
upbringing
agree.
in the sport isn't that good. He's just been living off talent. When he popped the jab last night, it was very successful. He rarely threw it out there. He was getting
Yeah.
popped with left hands the whole time, the whole fight. The writing was on the wall.
It looked like he was looking for one shot almost. It almost looked like he was looking to like he was looking for one shot. He wasn't trying to win the rounds. Looked like he was trying to just end the fight with one shot. And I think his trainers were trying to tell him. Let me tell you something, man. When a trainer don't have the fighter's ear, there's nothing they can tell that man. I think Derek James is kind of going through that a little bit with his camp. You know what I mean? To where he's a great trainer, but it seems like he's losing the ear of his fighters, and they're
Man,
going
Derrick
in there and
James
they're
has
not
the
listening.
most hard-headed fighters I've ever seen.
Yeah, they don't listen, bro. They go in there and do what they want to do, bro. When you don't have their ear, there's nothing you can do about it, bro. And I think last night Montana Love was on in that same chapter. I heard the corner giving him decent information, saying open up on the combinations, work off that jab. They were saying things like that to him, but he was going in there just really not. He just
Yeah.
wasn't executing. He was doing his
I
own
didn't,
thing.
I didn't, I didn't see that. I seen the corner saying things. I remember one round. I can't remember which one round. His trainer told him, when you go in with the 1-2, bring your defense back with you. Now it was very stark
Right.
difference from what I seen in the championship bout against against Devin Haney and Regis Prograis. Their trainers were giving them precise directions. Do this, throw this punch, do this, do that. I didn't see that from Montana Love's trainer. He was just saying general
Yeah,
things.
I agree with you.
He was just saying general things. He wasn't giving the guy precise directions on what to do. He was just saying stuff.
Yeah, they probably
Yeah,
sick of
he
that
was.
dude. I couldn't believe the dude had the lip gloss on. You know how they put the pictures up when they be
Yeah,
folding
Well,
their
his
arms?
yeah.
nickname
This
is Too
nigga got
Pretty,
on
so
lip gloss.
his nickname is
His
Too Pretty. So
That just I didn't know that was his nickname, by the way, but that describes that boy to a T. He was too pretty last night. He got knocked down himself twice, and rather than look ugly or even risk getting stopped, he gave up. He went in that corner, put his hands up, and he protected himself and let that dude open up on shots until the referee stopped it. It was a clear. It was a. Yeah, I have no interest in seeing him fight anymore. I'll be honest with you. I don't know who they're gonna
Yeah,
what
I'm
they're
done
gonna
with
do with him.
Montana Love.
well,
Every
I mean,
time I
I'd
see
love to
him
see
fight, he
him in
get
there
worse
with the
and worse.
gatekeepers of the world, and the prospects of the world. He could be a gatekeeper,
I
but
guess he can open up a card. I guess.
yeah, he could be
I
a
don't know.
gatekeeper, but he was never going to make it to the top of the 140-pound division. Like that was never going to happen for him.
Oh, C Dub, let me
Yeah.
ask, what did you think of I know because I haven't got to talk to you. What do you think about Ryan Garcia's performance?
Ryan Garcia's
Mm,
performance. I haven't
mm.
watched that fight in entirety. I only watched highlights, so I can't really
Ah,
say. I can't really say, but I would say something about, even though I haven't watched the fight, I would say something about like even some of the criticism that he got from that fight. Uh, I don't think there's anything wrong with trying to improve and work on things to get better. I seen a lot of people clowning him for trying to use the shoulder roll and employing a different
uh,
style.
The
James even told
California
him to
roll.
stop that shit. He shouldn't even been doing that though.
Yeah,
But
That
but I just
California roll. You talking about the
did
taco
that
shell?
silly roll.
yeah.
The egg roll, whatever. Call it anything but the Philly. Don't even call it a Philly roll because it's disrespectful. Because Philly's a
But
box,
Right.
a city of boxers. Don't even do
But you
that.
know what I like? He said I needed to do something to slow his momentum down. And
Yes,
so
that's true.
I could appreciate that he's thinking And he tried to come up with something, but that just lets me know with more knowledge and more practice and more training with Derek, he'll be able to execute those things in the ring once he knows what to do. That's what
Definitely.
I got
Yeah.
from that.
In my opinion, out of all those young guys, talk about Haney, Tank, Shakur, and all those guys, Ryan Garcia is the most physically gifted out of
100%.
all of them. He's the most physically gifted. He has the fastest hands. He has very snappy, powerful punches. He's long. He's taller than all of them. He's bigger than all of them. So I think he's the most physically gifted out of all of them. But I think he's the least amount of skill than all of them. So
I think that Ryan Garcia, with sitting on over 200 amateur fights, I believe it's over 200 amateur fights. I think he does have skills. You know what I mean? I think the worst thing about Ryan Garcia that holds him back is his inability to take instruction. I think he has a hard time doing that. He has a hard time executing. When he was in that situation that he wanted to slow that guy down. I don't know if Derek. I would like to think Derek James worked on things like that with him. I know one thing Derek James didn't work on him with was that damn role that he did. I think he has a hard time taking instructions. When you look at his history, going through Eddie Reynoso and going to Joe Guzman, what the fuck is? I can't even say that dude's name when
Joe
I'm in my
Goosen.
zone. Goosen, right? Joe Goosen, and now ended up with Derek James. He's had great coaches, but two coaches already have fell back from the Ryan Garcia business. They all have similar complaints. He does his own thing. Joe Goosen went on record to say that Ryan, you don't coach Ryan Garcia, you go along with the, what I'm saying, with the wave.
You partner with him. He said you partner with him.
Yeah, which is nonsense. No real coach would ever say anything like that. And Eddie Reynoso didn't hold no words back. He said it straight up. That boy don't got the commitment. I can't play with him. I only deal with champions. And he let that boy go off rip off of that. So I think his biggest obstacle is himself. I think his inability to be coached. It looks like Derek James does have his ear, though, a little bit better than the other coaches did. We'll see how that develops in the future. But I agree with you, C-Dub. Ryan Garcia 100% does have more natural gifts than anybody else in the division. He brings that height, he brings that snappy left hook, he brings he's very twitchy, he's very fast, he brings speed. And when you have that
And
as
he
a
has
foundation
power
to your
in
game,
both hands. He has power
yes,
in both
yes.
hands.
When you bring that as a foundation to your whole entire game, you know, the potential is there is no ceiling to what you can do except for yourself, which he needs to get out his own way and allow the professionals. He needs to have faith in Derek and let Derek really. And he seems like that's what he's trying to do, even letting Derek find the fights for him. He's really trying to be like, you know what, I'm gonna sit in the back seat and I'm gonna let you take me to the promised land and I'm gonna do what you tell me to do. But in that fight though with Duarte, he won. And I always say when somebody wins, everything else that happens in the fight gets put in perspective. You can't, what I'm saying? Like, even though it was looking horrible, he won. So that's what happened. I do think he didn't look that good though. I really think that he was dealing with a little PTSD from what happened with Javante. I think he was trying to protect that body. I think he was having flashbacks in there a couple of times in there, and he really was trying to avoid getting hit in that body again. I think he was very focused on defense, but at the end of the day, what he naturally does came to the surface, which is when he gets confronted with a situation and he gets backed into a corner, he doesn't curl up, he throws hooks. And when he throws those
Yeah.
hooks, possibilities are
Yep.
endless.
Yep. Well, we coming up on an hour and a half. I just dropped the link in
Sure.
case anybody want to come up here and drop their 2 cents. We're gonna be on a couple of more minutes. But listen, I like Ryan Garcia. I've always liked Ryan Garcia. I've been following Ryan Garcia for a while. I've always believed that if Ryan Garcia takes this craft seriously and he's moved correctly, he can be one of the faces of boxing. He can do great numbers. He can put on exciting fights, and he can fight decent competition. But he just got to take his craft more serious. He has to get with a decent trainer. And obviously, if you hard headed, you go to Derek James because he has the patience to deal with you. But
That's a
because I
fact.
mean, his fighters are so hard headed, and I'm like, what is up with these dudes, man? What is going
Something's
on with
going
them?
on. I think he's spread thin. 2 cents. I think he's spread thin. I think they really have a. I think he's not spending the time that he needs to spend with them to build that relationship with them. You know what I mean? I think that they're getting used to. I remember when Jamel Charlo was getting ready to fight Canelo, they asked him what's the biggest thing that he pulled away from the if there's anything he could change in his training camp. They said, what would you change? And he said, I wish I would have learned how to talk Spanish. I thought that was real profound for him to say that, because he got not Goose, what's his name, Guzman, what's his first name, the
Juan
Spanish
Guzman.
guy.
Juan Guzman.
Yeah, Ron Guzman there, and it just, to me, it sounded like what he was really
Juan
trying to
Guzman is
say.
his main trainer. It's just that when he's in training camp, then Derek James takes over. But the
Right,
majority
but
of the time
that's
he's with
obviously a
Guzman.
new thing.
Yeah.
That must be a new thing, because he said he wished he would have learned more Spanish, which means like he felt like he would have pulled more out of the training camp if he knew Spanish, because Guzman was such a pinnacle part of that, a center part of that whole entire training camp. And I think that at the end of the day, when you look at the relationship in that corner, when Derek was literally screaming at Jamel, like, what are you gonna do? And Jamel, if y'all paid attention, when he got up, the man rolled his eyes, bro.
I
He
was
rolled his
wondering why
eyes.
Jamel had the
Yeah,
attitude. Like he had such an attitude.
he acted like that, when the daddy ain't around, but he only come around every now and then, but when he come around, he want to tell you what to do. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it's just like, man, I know this dude ain't finna. Boy, what you gonna tell me, boy? I haven't seen you in like 6 months, boy. Don't even come up in here trying to run shit. You ain't my mom. That's kind of like the energy I got from him in
I
that
think I
fight.
think
So
I think I think when it comes to like, very seasoned boxers, when it comes to Derek James, everybody outside of Errol Spence is kind of in the same boat. He's getting boxers, later into their professional careers. After some of them,
that
even
part,
after they become
right?
champion, they've already learned. They've already stuck in their ways. They've already cemented who they are as boxers. Even though he does help them out, and he's helped Jamel out tremendously. He got Jamel halfway through his career. So, uh,
I
everybody
agree with you.
outside of Errol Spence is not like a homegrown thing where he started from the amateurs and young age and this type of thing. So that may be why it's kind of hard for him to get through to those guys, because he didn't start with them from the jump. So Errol
But what
Spence was
about
the only
Errol
one.
though? Even Errol has been known to not listen.
But
Errol's
Errol
been
just
known to
hard
go in there and
headed,
do his own thing.
period though.
He
He's
do
just
he does
hard
the
headed
same
in
thing.
life. He's just hard
Yeah,
headed in
yeah,
life.
we
Like
know that.
he's just
That's
hard headed
another
and
topic.
arrogant,
That's another
period.
topic. But I at one point in time I thought that Derek James was the best trainer out there, period. I did think that at one point in time, but as of this year, my mind has kind of changed on that. I still think he's a very great trainer, but I don't think he's the best out there. I do think that he has very, very great athletes under his stable, though. All of the
Yeah,
boxers under his stable are very, very talented fighters. Actually, the least talented fighter that he has is Errol Spence.
Frank. Oh, okay. All right.
That's the
Okay.
least talented fighter that he has in his whole stable. So, but he's had Errol Spence from the jump though. When we talk about just athleticism and physical gifts, you think about all these other boxers, they all have something that's off the charts outside of Errol Spence.
Yeah, he has Phil Jackson energy. Like when you have
Yeah.
Jordan, it's easy to look like you're the greatest. Oh, thanks.
Yep,
When
yep.
you
All
have when
right,
you
And
have
that
so
and
Michael
that and that's
Jordan,
and that's another reason why I'm reserving how I feel about Bozy as well. Because when you think about his son and when you think about Andy Cruz, these guys are already off the charts.
Clarence.
These guys are already off the charts physically. Boots is a freak athlete. Even though that's his son, Boots is a freak athlete. He can do anything. He probably could have played basketball or something if he wanted to. So
yep, yep. Well, Claymore, you got any last words? We about to shut it down. We've been on here an hour and a half. C-Dub, I'm gonna let you close us
Give me
out.
one second.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay, okay.
yeah, man. It was great speaking to you guys, man. Great speaking to you too, C Dub. I ain't no Devin Haney hater, but look, passion is passion, brother. You actually have a lot of boxing knowledge. I appreciate it building with you. Maybe we could do it again. Thank you.
for sure.
Uh, thank you. 2 Cents. Your show is. I love the platform. Thank you for hosting us, and I hope we can all do it again. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you. C-Dub, what you got?
All right, definitely appreciate you for having me on every time you do. As far as me speaking passionately about the Devin Haney situation. I definitely do get very into that topic when it comes to anybody in Devin Haney's position, because I truly believe that those guys that are actually putting themselves out there and challenging themselves deserve the most praise and the most credit. And it does bother me when they don't get it. So I may go a little far with it sometimes, but that's just how I feel about the situation. But there's no knock. I don't have anything personal against anybody. You know, it just is what it is, man. So, but I definitely appreciate you, 2 cents, for having me on. And anytime you want me on, I'll be back.
All right, thank you for coming to the platform. Hey, look, when you come on, C-Dub, we go crazy over here. Our lives be doing numbers, bro.
For
Yeah, I
sure, for
definitely
sure.
got to get you on more often. But I want to appreciate everybody for coming on today. Once make sure you punch that like and subscribe button. If you're listening to the replay of this live, make sure you let me know and drop it below your 2 cents. Hey, listen, if you missed the lives, I'm going to start running my lives late at night, back to back to back. So you could just sit, chill, listen to them while you're driving. I know I got a lot of truck drivers on here. If you up late, you just want to listen to some boxing talk and hear these replays. So be on the lookout for that. Once again, I'm Jay, and this is our 2 cents, where we talk everything boxing, and everybody's entitled to their own opinion. Make sure you click the link in the chat or in the description and go subscribe to the sponsor of today's live, Supreme L. He has some great music on his channel. And again, let me know and drop it below your 2 cents, and stay tuned for the next live. Peace out.